you have a sense of Judaism and some of the ABCs of Judaism, and you're looking for something a little deeper. And whether it's an additional companionship with other people that you get to see for another day, or whether it's some of the deep spiritual insights, y'all are here for something a little bit deeper. Well, guess what? Let's dive. I'm on page 99, and I want to read the first sentence in Hebrew, and I'm going to point out 3 words. They all are translated as, you could translate them all as make, or translate them all as create, but there's 3 different words on 99. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. You see those? I just read 6 words. They're kind of common. You know those words. Let's go to the next word, yotzer. Yotzer means to create or to make. Or means light. Uvore, and vore means to create or to make. Choshech, darkness. Oseh means to make or create. Shalom, peace. Overayed hakol, and creates all things. I'm going to ignore the last part because it's sort of a summary of the first 3. We're saying, thank you, God, praised are you, God, for creating light, for creating darkness, and for creating peace. But the verbs used to create or make are different. They are different words, and only when you get beyond the surface can you start to see some of the subtle differences and some of the deep wisdom of our people that you would only get if you have some knowledge of the Hebrew and the roots of these words. So the words are yotzer. Yotzer means to make, absolutely, but think of it with yotzer as what a potter does with clay. A potter takes clay and forms it into something that has more value than the original clay. Think of what a baker does with bread. Bread keeps coming up. Why do we keep talking about bread on high holidays? Because I'm always, but it's not even Yom Kippur. What a baker does with the flour and the yeast and the water and eggs or whatever else they put into it, they yotzer. They take what is there and they form it into something better. Yotzer means to form. It means to make. It means to create. But it really means to take ingredients and to form it. Yotzer or. Light is formed. Blessed are you, Adonai, who forms light. Like light is made up of other stuff. And that's kind of deep. Let's go to the next one. Uvore choshech. Vore, the word bore, is, it means create. The fancy word is ex nihilo. Ex nihilo means not like a baker or a sculptor, but someone who creates it from nothing. No, in the Bible, the word bore, the verb, is used to create things several different times in the Bible, and never is it a human that does the boreing. If you'll pardon my the mix between the Hebrew and the English. It's always God. Bore is always done by God. From nothing. Why is it that light is created from something, it's formed from something, and darkness is created from nothing? Darkness was something which was created like that. when you talk about created from nothing, it's the story, the scientist talking to God and says to God, you know, you made life, but now we can do that in a lab. And the scientist says, you know, look, we just you take some of the minerals, you boil them together, you get ammonium, you cook those in a certain way, and I can show you how to do it on my Petri dish. God, you'll really get a kick out of this. Watch closely how I do it. And you get amino acids. And amino acids, you clump them together, and there you got the building blocks of life. See, I'll show you all how to do it. And the scientist here says, here, go get me a little bit of dirt. And God says, go get your own dirt. That's what creation out of nothing is. God made the dirt. God made the minerals from nothing, like that. Ex nihilo. Why do we say that light is formed, but darkness has to be created by God? It gives us a fascinating insight as to the difference between light and dark. They are not opposites. They are very different things. They are as opposite as duck and Wednesday. They're not opposites. A duck is not the opposite of Wednesday. They're very different things. And we think of them, we think of darkness as just the absence of light, but that's not the way God is portraying it to us. They are different things. Now, how many of you have, raise your hand if you've ever thought of that light and darkness are very different things? No. Now, it'll get your head spinning a little bit. It'll get your head spinning. What does it mean to create from nothing darkness? Well, we're going to dive into the creation story. We're going to dive in a deep level. Not for a long time, not over everything, but we're going to dig a hole which is deep and narrow to take a look at that word bara. Does anyone know the first word of the Hebrew Bible, of Torah in Hebrew? Does anyone know the first word of it? Bereshit. Wonderful. Bereshit, the first three letters of Bereshit are Bet Resh Aleph, which is the verb borei. Bereshit. Often we read it as ba, which means in, and reshit, which means the head of or the beginning of, the rosh. Ba rosh. Rosh like Rosh Hashana. Beroshit. Bereshit. In the head of, or in the start of. Bereshit, in the beginning. The next word, anyone know the next word? Bara, very good. Who said that? Joel Nadell Gold Star, next to the name. Gold Nadell, for knowing the second word was bara. Anyone know the three letters of those? And if you said Bet Resh Aleph, you would get it right. The same three letters of Borei and Bereshit. So Bereshit is a curious word because it contains the first three letters, create, and then the word shate, and then the next word, create. Create, six, create. Shate is an old way of saying shesh, or six. So you could read the Bible in a lot of depth, and our people read it in a tremendous amount of depth. And they read it over and over again, and they built on the learning of everyone that came before them. So Bereshit doesn't have to mean in the beginning. It can mean created six. And then created, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et haaretz. Created six, and then God created the heavens and the earth. Created six. What were the 6 things God created before the heaven and the earth? And one answer is sort of more apparent than the other. One answer is more apparent. What was the 6 things that God created before finishing the creation of the earth? Well, some would say, well, that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. God created those 6 days of creation and rested on the 7th day, and it wasn't until the 7th day that God finished the creation of the world with the rest. That's a good insight. But if you read the creation story in a little bit more depth, you find that there are 6 things that are there before God says, let there be light. Yehi or. Let there be light. It happens when God says so. Let there be light. So what are the 6 things that are there? You know what we're going to do? I'm going to postpone that until we actually read them in the Hebrew. Because I think I gave you enough to think about. Does anyone have any idea what one of those 6 things, the 6 mysterious building blocks of the world might be? Anyone know what one of them might be? There's a hint in there. Water is one, absolutely. Ding, ding, ding. Because it says, and the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. So there was water in the creation of the world. And then the water was separated. That's what God does. But one of them is darkness. Dum, dum, dum. Maybe that was one of the 6 building blocks of this world. With that, let's say the Yotzer, or we'll do it in Hebrew just because I pointed out some of the words. If you know the Hebrew, great. I'm on page 99. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer or uvorei choshech osei shalom uvorei et hakol hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim uvetuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. See that word v'reishit? Look at that. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita yefa'arucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer ha'me'orot. On the next page, page 100. You want to sing it? Oh, we sing Ahavat Olam. Sorry about that. Let's just do the last line because someone is standing in the sun. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava. You can stay seated for Shema.